are we going to get into today? Well, today I think we're going to make, I just feel this is going to be the best bourbon that I ever made. Okay, so we're going to have to roast some corn, and when you roast the corn, it seems to give you that kind of popcorn taste, a buttery taste. Oh, it's fantastic. Show off that taste explosion, we're going to double oak it. Okay, but first things first. Welcome to Stillworks and Brewing. My name is Randy, and this is a channel that's all about home distillation and brewing. All right, well, let's get started. Okay, this is going to be called a Double Oak Roasted Bourbon. So you might say, well, what is Double Oak Roasted Bourbon? Well, Double Oak, it's a growing style around the world, well, basically here in the United States, but it is a style that is really growing. And to be honest with you, I had one the other day. It was fantastic. So I got to figure out how to make this. Confused with the second barrel finishing, like, sometimes you'll do a bourbon and you'll age it in oak, and then you will take it out of that and finish it in, like, say, a port or a sherry barrels, to get some of that flavor. That is not what this is. So, while the rules of bourbon, it has to be at least 51% corn, aged in new white oak barrels. I think it can't be distilled over 160 proof, and it can't go into the barrel any higher than 120, I believe. Yeah, I believe that's what it is. Okay, and it has to go in the bottle at least 80 proof, okay? So, all right, so this barrel aging is where you get your colors and you get that great taste of caramel and vanilla and that oak taste. That's what makes bourbon, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to make our bourbon, our roasted bourbon, which is fantastic on its own. And if I think about it, I'll put a card up here to where we've made, I think it was called Bourbon 2.0, okay? Anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to distill, we're going to make this bourbon mash. We'll end up distilling it, and then we will age it. And what we will do, age it one time, and I'm going to use chips, because I'm a home distiller, I can do what I want. So I'm going to age it on chips for a certain amount of time, and when I feel it's right, I will take it off those chips and put it on some brand new chips, and it's going to make that taste. I'm hoping it's just going to be fantastic. So you'll have to stick around and wait. It's going to take a little bit of time to get this one done, but I think it's going to be well worth it. What's in the mash bill? Well, we're going to use 13 pounds of roasted corn. We're going to use 5.5 pounds of barley and 2 pounds of wheat and 1 pound of rye. And this is going to be fantastic. corn ground up, and I got some boiling water in my brew pot. So what we want to do is we want to let's put some hot water into our brew pot, probably about 3 gallons, and we're going to stir in our corn. Whoops, I need I got a false bottom. False bottom I'm going to put in here. Get it in there right. There we go. Nice and tight. And what I'm going to use is a brewing bag. We'll put that in there. All right, so we're getting ready. If I can get that out. Okay. So what we want to do is put in some hot water. Get rid of some lids. This is boiling water. I'll probably put about 3 gallons or better. Just so I mix up the corn. Well, it's 13 pounds of corn. So the water's 200 degrees, then I'll turn my mash tun on, keep it hot. And the idea is I want to cook the starches out to get that corn to release them starches, because that's what we need. The smell of that roasted corn is fantastic, I have to say. Try to make sure we don't get any dough balls. All right. It'll start getting thick here shortly. Gotta love corn. If you need to add a little more hot water, you can. You don't want too awful much. You want to make it like a porridge to begin with. And it's going to get thick. I mean, All right, I'm gonna plug in my mash tun. Okay. No, I don't see no dough balls. Sorry, it's all mixed up. It's like a nice porridge right now. So what I want to do is, well, let me back up. I'm going to take my temperature. Just okay, it's 165. This heat belt on my mash tun, it's going to help bring the temperature up. So we'll be good to go with that. All right, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a blanket, lay on top of there to help insulate it. And I'm going to set a timer for 1.5 hours. Okay. All right. Hey Siri, set timer for 1.5 hours. Okay.
1 hour and a half, starting now.
All right, so while we're doing that, just so I can get this out of my way, let's grind up, or let's mill up our Okay, so it's been 1.5 hours. And what I did a little while ago is I turned it down. Well, I actually put in some high temperature enzymes to help loosen it up. And I got a lot of liquid. I mean, you can just see it is got a lot of liquid in it. So that high temperature enzyme, it sure does the trick. Let me check the temperature. I'm hoping it's down around 160, because once I add in the rest of the grain, 163. So let me turn the heat down. All right, so I put it at 60, about 60 degrees Celsius, so that'll work. Okay, so what I want to do, I'm going to stir the rest of the grain and let finish this starch conversion up. So this is the barley, the wheat, and the rye. This will also help convert them starches over, plus the flavor. I might have to add a little bit of water to it. Almost got it. I am gonna put a scoop of water in it. All right, just a little bit more grain. Job stirring all this in then. That high temperature enzyme really does help to get to this point. Here's my bag. Put a lid on that. Oop, wrong lid. Put a lid on that. Cover back. Drop my mic. So I hope that wasn't a loud bang on you. All right, an hour and a half. Let's get this uncovered. Oh yeah, it's got a lot of nice liquid on top. So what we want to do is I need a sample of it. I used to have a spoon I did this with. I can't find it. All right, we got a sample. We're going to do a starch test. This is a tincture, iodine tincture. Put a drop in the sample. Okay, it basically goes right back to the same color that it was. If there was starch present, it would go like ink black right away. Okay, so what we're good to do is to go to the next process. And the next process is we're going to sparge this over into our fermentation bucket. Okay? So, let me get set up for that and we'll be right back. Sparging. Got a beautiful color. So what we'll do is we're going to drain all the liquid out. And then what we can do is put water back in there. We're going to flush all the sugars out of them grains. This is what I call sparging. And we'll just keep doing this until we collect 6 gallons of a mash in our bucket here. Okay, so I got my pulley here. I'm gonna pull the bag up. And that's gonna help it drain out. Air, it is draining really well. I like how this works. I mean, I still got to run that. I probably got maybe a gallon more to go. So hopefully, if everything's right, if I don't collect enough, then I can always put a little bit of water through this and then do it again. Okay. Let's see where we're at. Let me just give it a quick stir. And we are at 1.080. Hey, I'm happy with that. 1.080. All right, so what do we got to do next? Well, we need to check the temperature. I think it's still warm, too warm for a yeast. Yeah, it's 126. That's too warm for a yeast. We want it to be at 90 or below, in between 90 and 76 or 78 before we add the yeast. So, what we'll do is I'm gonna put a top on this. Now you could use a wort chiller. You could take a block of ice in a jug and put it in there, and cool it down. But what I'm gonna do is just put a lid on it. I'll put it in my fermentation room, and then later tonight or first thing in the morning, I'll put the yeast on it, and then it'll be 7 to 10 days, and it will be it'll be done ferment, and then we'll move on to distillation. All right. So let me get a lid on this, and I'll get moved. I'll be right back. Mash over in the fermentation room. We'll let that cool down. So that's about it for today, but I got to clean up. Yeah, that's the best part of everything is cleaning up. But it is what it is. Hey, get rid of this old grain. Okay. My pulley system seems to work pretty good. It's draining that real well. So I'm happy with that. All right, so what's next? Well, next we'll distill it out. Then we will, of course, we'll proof it down, and then we will put it on oak. And then we'll get into all that, and then it's going to be double oak. This is going to be one fantastic bourbon. I am really looking forward to this, so I hope you are too. So the last thing I got to say on this nice snowy day is, hey, thanks for coming by, and we'll see you next time here on Stillworks and Brewing. Cheers, everybody.